That's what happened the last time I did one of these podcasts. Like,
done talking.
Hey, everybody, this is Brian with the DeTalented Podcast. I'm here with Jimmy, and we've got a special guest with us here today, Mr. Kevin Minnis. Say hi to everybody, Kevin.
hi, everybody.
And Jimmy, I guess I'll let you say hi, too. I kind of just skipped right over you on it.
You know what I like about this?
Which I'm trying to look.
You know what I like about this?
What's that?
Absolutely nothing.
I know, right? I know. We were just kind of already sitting here talking, and they're like, why are we not already recording? So
you just jump into it.
Since I was at the helm, I just jumped right in, man.
I like it. I lied.
yeah.
I like everything about it.
It's amazing. So I'm only going to do this once.
Is it amazing?
Yeah. Everybody, if you would, we would ask that you would like the video, subscribe to the channel. So what else is there? There's so much.
There's a lot.
It's almost like you need to pre-record.
Tell your friends.
Some kind of thing. Yeah, tell your friends. You can find us on YouTube. You can find us on Instagram, X, Facebook, TikTok, Spotify. There's really no reason. If you're looking for a reason not to listen or to watch the DeTalented Podcast, I've got to tell you, it's going to be hard pressed to find one, Jimmy. Did you hear about? Yes. Go ahead, ask.
But how much does it cost?
It's free.
Wow.
Can you believe it?
What a deal.
I know, it is a deal. And then today with us, Kevin, if you would kind of, I want to talk about your guitars and all of that stuff, because that's amazing. I'll be honest, that it's rare. I've seen so many people go into that, and I want to get deeper into it, but you're way more successful and better at it than most people do.
Like a rocket ship. You just took off like a rocket ship.
You did. Wow. But before that, let's introduce you as Kevin is the guy who currently, and I don't see it changing anytime soon, plays music when Jimmy does his acoustic stuff, which we need to post some more of that stuff.
We really should.
And so Kevin is kind of
scare off all the listeners.
Yeah, he's kind of became family. I think he calls you Uncle Jimmy, don't he?
He does.
Uncle Jimmy over here.
Funny.
It's been like that for a while.
He's about our older kid's age, right?
He's a little bit. A little bit.
We've
older.
done the math.
So we're closer. We're almost. Well, I'd had to get started pretty early.
How old are you though?
Just turned 36.
So he's Matthew's age. Yeah, which is my stepson, but I've raised him. I mean, so
there it is.
Yeah. So I got a kid your age. I didn't. I would have been young. I would have been like 12 or 13.
But Kevin is an old soul.
He is an old soul.
Yeah.
Which we know how that is.
Yeah.
Trevor and Travis are old souls. Jay's an old soul.
That's true.
Jay's just a warped old soul.
Oh, Jay's something.
He is something.
Dude, it's funny, man, because I hear there's a lot of times we always talk about the talent stories. Dude, pretty much the only stories I hear now is when people see Jay out.
It's that it's passing on in that generation. He just he's
picking it up.
He just amped a lot of things up with his persona.
Well, I think what it is you don't see Jay. So whenever Jay does come out, it's like, whoa, this is a big deal.
That is true. And then he makes his presence known, and not really his presence. It's just his style more than anything.
Dude, I'll never forget the first time I saw Jay. It was New Year's Eve at Kevin's backstage. And here he comes walking in like this big old fur coat and like these high heel boots. Yeah. I'm like, and then you introduce him as your son. I'm like, what? This guy?
I have one friend that I had to convince him and sell him the fact that Jay's not gay. Which, if he is, okay, whatever. Each is their own. But he's not. But I had to explain to him, no, man, that dude, he does that.
He dresses like a freaking rock star.
And then Jay enjoys that. Jay loved the fact that you had to convince your buddy Adam that he wasn't gay.
Yeah, that's who it was. That's funny. Where he always comes up. But it's Jay wants shock factor. That's what he wants.
Absolutely.
Dude,
yeah.
Nails it.
He does.
Jay's the guy that'll show up at your wedding with a trench coat, no shirt.
Can I tell
suspenders?
So he got my son Michael's wife. It was girlfriend at the time. Got her name tattooed on his forearm. Rachel. He has Rachel on his. You know this.
Yes,
we all know this.
His brother. Brother's woman.
For the record, though, who doesn't love Rachel?
That's true.
Everybody loves Rachel.
She's great.
But that was commitment. I was like, man, Jay, what if they don't get married?
Well, I mean, remember Gavin? He said he was going to get a Menace face tattoo out in Vegas.
He did say that.
I'm still waiting on that. I mean,
Gavin,
anytime, Gavin, I'm talking to you.
You know what though? I let him slide because he got me. He got me this for Father's Day.
I'm so jealous of that shirt. Just so you know, I'm going to buy one of those, and we have to figure out when you're wearing it so I can.
Oh no, we wear them together.
I mean, that's kind of what we do here, right?
That's right. Well, yeah. Look at this, representing Menace.
Actually, there's a lot of times whenever I go to a gig, I take like 2 shirts with me and 2 hats.
Just in case.
Like, what's Jimmy going to be wearing tonight?
You know what? I don't have a Menace hat.
You don't have a
I'm
Menace
feeling
hat?
left out. I don't.
You know what?
I don't have one.
I don't have a DeTalented Podcast hat.
Yeah,
So maybe we can work
Maybe
out
we're
a
kinda
trade.
even.
Do a
But-
trade.
Yeah. But I would say, Jimmy's part of the. I guess you got one because of your other endeavors.
Jimmy is a Menace guitar artist. Actually,
I'm endorsed.
yeah. Actually,
by
you're kind
Menace.
of on the payroll here.
I'm the test bench, right?
Yeah, quality control.
Quality control.
If it makes it past you,
You got to fill in this endorsement's going to lead to remorsement.
Listen, if I can't break it, nobody can.
true story.
That is true. You're a really good person to give a guitar and be like, hey, see if you can tear this up.
You know what I wish you could queue up right now and insert it in?
Where you drop Chad's guitar?
Chad's guitar or my guitar?
I know.
Well,
take your
I don't
pick.
think we have video of yours. We actually have video of
it's-
Chad's.
I know. If we were live, we're not live. We pre-record. But if we were and Michael was
Dude.
watching this, he could.
We'd have it queued up.
We could remote him in.
We'd
Yeah,
have it queued up. But no, we didn't video yours.
There might be someone out there,
some. Yeah, there might be.
but my goodness, yeah, Jimmy. If you can't break it, then it's good to go.
When you dropped Kevin's, was it just a strap release?
I don't know.
Yeah, the strap released and it hit the floor. That's exactly what happened.
That's
It actually hit one of my
happens.
pedals.
Yeah,
That's what happened.
That's what happened to that other guitar that I dropped. I told you, man, it landed
Yeah.
right on the. You remember David had those. David McCord had his foot pedals.
Yeah,
yep.
And it had those old school
Yeah.
little push-up buttons on
that's exactly what happened
it. Dude,
there.
it dropped right. It landed right on the edge, and there's just a perfect. Looked like someone.
Well,
Yeah.
Their
that's
pinky
what
finger
it
through
is.
it.
It really opened up the sound of that guitar.
It did. Didn't
I'm
it?
not gonna lie. I think you sound better since then.
Dude.
I definitely care less about the guitar now.
See, that's all it took.
Well,
Oh man, it's always just such a heartbreaker when it happens.
if only I knew somebody that could fix it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Some guitar.
If only you knew
If you only knew
somebody who could work on guitars.
Some kind of guitar smith or
Yeah,
something.
Somebody who
I've got the
builds
pieces.
guitars.
They're actually saved in the case, and I thought about fixing it, but I'm like, you know what? I like the story behind
So
it
now
so
here's
much more.
It's got character now.
Here's what you
Yeah.
got to ask yourself:
What's
Are you ever going to get rid of that guitar,
Oh,
or
dude.
is it going to stay in your family? What you hope for ever?
Dude, you and I have had this conversation.
Yeah.
Whenever I bought this guitar, it was the most expensive guitar I've ever bought. It was like the dream. And I sat there and I thought about it for a little bit. I'm like, okay, I can keep this in the case.
Oh, it's like a Gibson J series.
yeah, the J45.
Yeah.
I'm like, I can keep it in the case, and this can be like retirement for my kids, which they would probably appreciate that.
Or I can let Jimmy play it.
Or it's like I can use this as a tool that it's meant to be. Play it
Yeah.
every weekend. Whenever I'm dead and gone, my kids are going to look at this and be like, you know what? Dad played that guitar every stinking show.
I think that's cooler.
Agree.
But
I know you would.
You know I would.
Yeah.
I've never been too precious about guitars.
What?
Well, I know that comes as a surprise. It was just always, they were just a tool for
Exactly.
to play, you know?
It's like a carpenter's hammer. It has a
Exactly.
purpose. You've
Exactly. It's
got-
a tool.
I agree. And I know that probably sounds weird coming from me, but no, it's truth.
You know, I like I said, I've probably
Actually,
the other way where
I kind of blame you for this. I used to be like the pristine, let's put it in case,
Yeah.
wipe it off. And then 7 years playing with you. Now
Yeah.
I'm just like, all right, well,
I
think these strings will work.
I gotta say, character on a guitar is a big thing, though.
Yeah.
Man. Let me put it this way: say Kevin Minnis gets super famous, right?
win.
Bring it.
Win.
right.
Well, we're waiting
And-
on that one song.
That's
and
right.
then
One song.
somehow this acoustic guitar, this J45, ends up in the Las Vegas gold and silver pawn shop.
Rick is going to pull it out and be like, this right here.
I've got to think Rick's going to say, "You see this hole right here?
That's how I know it's
Absolutely.
real.
This
Absolutely.
other goon he used to play with played
Dropped
it
it.
and dropped it right on a pedal." But Kevin decided that's going to add worth.
Dude, and stop and think about it. Okay, like your Gibson custom shops, they will take like Jimmy Page's guitar
Yeah.
and they will mimic it down to every single scratch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
And you pay big money for that.
For that, yeah,
Absolutely.
for a guitar that's distressed.
You think about it, when the Menace model J45 comes out, it's going to have a hole at the bottom.
It's going to have a hole in the bottom and a crack on the top. So see,
You did that.
I was the first one to put my mark there.
Yeah.
I think that sort of helped make it not hurt as bad.
Yeah. That broke it in a little bit.
Dude, I will say this. You are not very precious about guitars. That when we were at Pips that night and the J240,
that's different.
J200.
yeah, the J200, yeah. When it fell, dude, the look on your face, I was like,
Dude, that's Apple's
yeah,
guitar.
I know.
You
It's
can't-
Poppy's guitar.
So yeah, that was a little heartbreaking, and I saw a couple pieces bust off of it, and I was like, oh, I don't know if this is playable. That was the thing that hurt my feelings. And here's what made me mad. I just got that stand, and apparently you have to open the legs up a little bit more than I opened them up.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think you opened up nearly far enough.
No, now they're spread way out.
Yeah.
Now
Actually
they're
take
spread
center
way
blocks
out.
with him and he puts those down.
Yeah, I think when he did it, they were pretty close together.
They were. I guess I didn't understand the science behind a stand, did I?
How long have you been playing?
Too long, but I guess I didn't have a stand
Actually,
that nice.
That's probably the first stand you ever had, because before that, you're just setting it against your amp.
prop
You're
it.
like, all right, this will work.
I did prop a lot of guitars up against wherever I could prop them up.
I know.
So
And you know what? I remember even when you got that stand, I literally was like, ooh, that's an awful fancy stand.
Dude, it's the
For Jimmy.
best.
yeah,
They're nice. Yeah, they're
Yeah.
great.
leave it to me.
If you open them up, you open the feet up,
Again, if this man can break it, he's going to break it.
he will.
Yeah.
And that leads us back to
Yeah.
the whole thing of, man, so Menace Guitars has been around since when?
That's kind of a trick question. So it's actually something I started back in high school. So
Okay.
2005, I think, was the first year.
I was 30 in 2005.
That's what I was thinking too. I was like,
I was a
started back in high school,
freshman in high school. There.
2014.
Life had already beaten me down by
I
that
know.
point.
Yeah.
But no, it started back in high school. So I inherited a violin that my great grandfather made. And I'd look at this thing. I'm like, this is so cool. I have no clue how to play a violin, but just the work that went into it was amazing. So I'm like, what if I took my wood shop class and mixed it with guitar? And I went to my shop teacher. He was super cool. And he said, yeah, whatever you want to do, Kevin, you do it. He was really laid back. And if someone showed initiative, he was all for it. So we made that first guitar back then, and it barely played, but it looked cool.
Right.
So I actually learned a lot of lessons there. And
Did you continue, or was that a one and done?
so in high school, I made 5 guitars total. Actually, by the time I got to my senior year, I had ran out of wood shop classes. And I was scared. I'm like, man, what am I going to do my senior year? I want to keep on going. So I went to my guidance counselor, and we struck a deal. He said, I tell you what, if you build me a guitar, we'll make some classes for you.
Really?
So, and actually, that's the one Menace guitar that I have no clue where it is to this day.
Oh.
So Mr. Dexter passed away several years ago, and I've got no clue where that guitar ended up. So if you're watching the DeTalented Podcast and you know where there is a black Tele SG Menace guitar, call me up. I'd be interested to see that thing again.
A
And-
black Tele SG.
Sounds like a fantastic machine. What are we talking
Oh yeah,
about?
that's your language, isn't
Yeah.
it? Yeah, it was like Tele on the top half, and then the bottom half, like the hook, was
Yeah.
more
Oh.
SG.
Man,
Okay.
that sounds
So,
sexy.
So yeah, it was a pretty cool guitar.
Man,
Nice.
yeah, dude.
So yeah, I think
That's awesome.
5 guitars in high school, and yeah, it stopped after that because I didn't have a shop to work out of, and started playing music out, raising a family and everything. Didn't have time for it, and then 2020 comes around, COVID hits, and we stopped playing out as much.
Mm-hmm.
And at that point in time, I'd seen these custom shop guitars that I really, really wanted, but I definitely couldn't afford. And I'm like, you know what? I think I can build this. So I hopped on Marketplace, bought a $50 bandsaw, found like a router for $20, and started at it from there.
So you literally started under $100. Started building guitars.
Yeah, I mean, that's
Again.
that's the
That's
thing.
crazy.
People think that you have to have, this top of the line CNC and all these fancy tools. And granted, they make life so much easier if you've got the right tool for the job, but you don't have to have that.
Yeah.
Man, that and see, that surprises me. I figured you had to dump a boatload of money to get started.
Dude,
Once-
poor boys have poor ways.
That's right, we do.
I mean,
That's
you
right.
know this.
Yes.
That is correct.
There's this dude on YouTube that he will build like guitars out of his camper, like on campsites. Like he pops open this bench and he's got like these battery jigsaws and all this stuff. I don't recommend that because it doesn't look fun to me, but works for him.
You know, man, I've seen dudes where like they'd build the guitars out of like gas cans or old like metal gas cans, tin gas cans, and then they would, you know, come up with some neck. And then, man, I seen one the other day. This guy built this bass, but this is a technological giant. I don't know what this guy was doing. You may have seen this.
The neck
spins. Oh my God. I was like, how would you even play this thing? I think which is what he found out was the downfall of it.
I don't know.
What did the neck spin for? What was the purpose of that?
Because he can make it spin.
Oh,
so I guess he wanted to hit a lot of notes.
All 12.
All 12.
But, dude, the guy is a great bass. If you've ever watched that guy just play, he's fantastic. Yeah. But he just gets into that. I think he did that for views. That's why he did it.
I see.
You know, but it's still crazy, man. He's got this thing, and like, I mean, it's a bass, and when it's idle or whatever, the neck's in there just spinning.
Oh, so it's spinning,
and there's strings all the way around it.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So it's like a
don't come to Menace asking for one of those. You know, we're gonna draw the line somewhere. Got to stop somewhere here. All right,
where the strings switch places in the middle while you're playing.
You did build a 3D printed guitar, didn't you?
We started a 3D printed guitar, and it's still sitting in a box in my shop.
The body's complete though, right?
It's sitting in a box in my shop.
I see.
That's unfortunately like what happens with my stuff. Like I start a project for myself. And I'm like, all right, cool. I'm all gung ho. And then someone else comes like, hey, can you build this? So my project kind of sets off to the side.
Was that because though it wasn't, you know, really viable?
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
The 3D printer thing come out and it was like supposed to be all this greatness. And dude, it's not. You know, I mean, it's pretty cool. You can do some stuff.
Oh, absolutely.
There's applications for it, but like, I don't know about like a guitar and then also, I mean, you know, you can buy a 3D printer that's pretty much looks like a easy bake oven, or you could buy one that would barely fit in this room.
Sure.
Right. So, and that's what I'm sure you were using like a personal style.
So it was actually a collaboration between me and a guy that I worked with. He started up a 3D printing business.
Oh, okay.
And then I was doing the guitar, so we were going to work together on it. And at that point in time, I think he was at like more the entry level stuff. And there was just a lot of fitment issues. And then, like I said, someone else came along. I had a customer, so their stuff always comes first.
Yeah.
Then by the time I get that done, I learned something to do better. And I go back and I look at my past projects. I'm like, well, that's just firewood now. Dude, I don't
want to do that now.
I've got so many bodies and necks laying around. And actually, I'm piecing one together right now because I don't have a guitar at home. Like, I know that sounds weird, but
really,
I have like one.
Are they all out?
They're all out.
Okay.
So I've got like the original Menace guitar, which we talked about. It was the first one. So there's a lot to learn from. So
the first one from high school.
First one from high school is in pieces. And I've got the first
one from 2020
revived one sitting there. And dude, it plays and it's a great guitar, but I don't want to take it out. There's things that I want differently. So I need an electric guitar.
Don't you have the Hot Mess up there still?
Do I really?
Yes, you do.
Maybe I've got two.
I don't know where it's at. I hope you have it.
What's the Hot Mess?
It's mine.
Okay.
Please look for it. I'm pretty sure you have.
That's another problem. Is there's a lot of cases and stuff.
Yeah, because I brought it to you for your open house.
Okay.
And then, you know, not that we don't really play electric out that much anymore.
Have we even done an electric show
since then? Maybe not. When was that?
I don't.
It was last summer.
No, that turned into an acoustic gig.
Yeah.
So yeah. Anyhow, I'll check.
Yeah, look, I'm pretty sure you have it.
All right, my bad.
So what is the Hot Mess? Why is it the Hot Mess?
Well,
you know, Jimmy. I mean, enough said right there.
So this is a guitar that you had in your hands.
This is a guitar that was built for me.
Yeah.
It's the Hot Mess.
It was probably within the first 10, I would say.
Oh, I would say so. When was that? 22, 20?
I don't even think. I think it's probably 2020 or 2021.
You think so?
Yeah.
I mean, we could go back and
2020 is whenever I, like I said, started back up. March, you had a gig at Backstage, and I brought you the first guitar. I said, hey, play this. Let me know what you think.
Yeah.
See if you can break it, I think was my exact words.
Yeah.
And actually, that show got me my first customer build.
That's right. That's right.
Brent Seaton.
Yeah.
And Whiskey Alibi was
That's
the name of
right.
the band. He was there, and he came up. He goes, "What guitar is that?" And you're like, "That guy over there, he made it." So he came over to me, and he goes, "I want you to build me a guitar." I'm like, "All right, bud, cool. Here's my name, number. Call me on Monday when you remember this conversation."
And he did, though.
He did.
Yeah, that's got to be the coolest thing. Is
Yeah.
when that started happening, and now, and we can kind of get into that.
Yeah.
is because now you've got some
Why
artists.
don't you jump into
Yeah.
your client list?
Dude,
Yeah.
that's I mean, that's where it all started, was with Brent that night. I had no clue what I was doing. I'd only built 1.5 guitars at this point in time, and this dude comes to me and wants to build one. So we just kind of learned from there, and kept on going. Like, the next, I think, guitar that I sold was one that I built for myself, and Grant Carter saw it, and he goes, "Hey man, bring it down to 10 and 6 tonight down in Owensboro. I'm gonna play a gig." I said, "All right." So I took him that guitar. He played it that night. He goes, "Dude, sell me this guitar." I said,
Grant.
"I'm not selling this guitar. I built it for me. I want it." He goes, "Sell it to me, sell it to me." So I'm finally like, "All right, here's the deal. You show up at church tomorrow morning. I will sell you that
Yeah, he
guitar."
did, didn't
And Grant showed up at church,
Yeah.
and I unfortunately had to sell that guitar.
Where's that guitar now?
Grant still has
He
it.
still has it?
So actually, he hit me up a little bit ago. There's some things that he's wanting to go through and mod on it.
Okay.
And so I'll get to see that guitar again. But yeah, dude. And that's the thing. I thought it was the coolest thing ever, just having like my guitar played by Jimmy DeTalent at Kevin's
Wow.
backstage.
That's a very
Dude,
low bar. You really shot for the stars on that one.
Well, I've learned if you set your expectations low, you won't be disappointed.
See, that's perfect.
But no, like, I thought it was the coolest thing ever, having like guitars played locally
by live musicians.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, that was like a big moment for me.
Yeah.
And then, okay, Grant, he's down in Kentucky. So I've got guitars in 2 states now.
Yeah.
And then a mutual friend of ours, Corey Lawson, me and Corey struck up a deal. Corey did some recording for us.
Yep.
And which phenomenal producer. If you're looking for something to get done, go check
Corey
out
Lawson.
Claw Sound Studios.
Claw Sound Studios.
Yeah.
Corey is awesome.
Corey's like, he's like you. Like, so many like cool moments and just people.
Well,
Dude, seriously, you laugh at this, but like,
I'm laughing because I'm laughing at him.
I know.
See, you know, he's a fool, and you need to understand.
But listen. Okay, so many moments in my life I can pinpoint back to Jimmy DeTalent.
oh wow.
As sad as that is.
Me too.
Yeah, baby.
But no, that's Corey. Like, dude, Corey has opened up so many doors for me down in Nashville, and so many people that I've met down there. Menace would not be where it is today if it wasn't for Corey Lawson.
And he's a good dude.
Dude, he's the best.
He's a good dude, man.
He's the best. And I tell you what, his stuff, he just has an ear.
Yeah.
He knows how to produce a song. He knows what it needs, how to bring it to life. Anytime I get a chance to give him a plug, I do it because that man's awesome.
Absolutely. Corey Lawson, Claw Studios in Nashville.
Claw Studios in Nashville. We're shouting you out.
So anyhow, he got me my first guitar in Nashville, which was huge for me. And then from there, just one after another. I think there's 6 or 7 floating around in Nashville right now,
And all these players are down on
Broadway. I mean, every single night. And that's one of the cool things too, is anytime that I've got someone from, Southern Indiana that's going to Nashville, they're constantly calling me up. Hey, where do I need to go down here? I feel like a Nashville concierge.
Yeah.
So like, hey, where's the good places? Where's the good music?
Do you tell them all the places where they'll see a Menace guitar?
Oh, absolutely. That's like,
That's smart.
that's the goal.
That's all you do. That's all I would tell them.
Like these guys right
Here's
here.
where you go. Now, let me say this. I know, and this is just coming from somebody not even good. It's such a testament for people, especially guitar players, who, when you get a guitar in your hand, you immediately know.
Right.
Even me,
Oh,
being
yeah.
a awful player, I immediately know. Okay, this might as well be a piece of firewood. This might as well be a
Right.
tree.
Right.
This feels like a tree. Oh man, this is you can just feel it nice.
Yeah.
And to be making to get that kind of quality that fast, man, it's pretty impressive,
Dude,
especially in your age. Because and I'll say this, I don't care if I hurt people. Most guys your age don't work with their hands. They don't do that kind of thing. The fact that you and what happened? Did you have a grandpa, your dad, somebody work with wood that was that showed you some stuff? Or
Dude,
did
no,
you
not really.
You just wanted to do it.
Yeah. I mean, my one grandpa, he's a pastor and guitar picker. The other one was all about motorcycles. There wasn't any woodworking. outside of my great-great-grandfather, which obviously I never got a chance to meet.
That's cool then that you just wanted to do that, that you just jumped on that on your own because like I said, man, those young men don't do that kind of work that much anymore. Because that's a cool thing about guitar building is you're doing something that's really finesse and finish and everything. But at the same time, man, you're starting with a block of wood.
Yeah.
You're creating that. I think it's really cool. I'm impressed and I'm enamored by it because I'm not good at that stuff. I would love to be, I'm not. So the fact that, like I said, when you just said you started for the startup costs that you did, that blows me away.
Yeah.
Because I would have thought you had to buy, like you said, a CNC or some awesome router or something to be able to cut those shapes out and all that stuff. I got to call somebody if I got like a crazy doorway I need to put flooring around or something.
Oh, dude, that's like one of the biggest misconceptions. People's like, oh, you build guitars. You're a professional woodworker, carpenter. No. Like this week,
I need some kitchen cabinets built. Can you help me out?
No, sir. Dude, so like for Lexi's birthday, my daughter, she wanted her room remodeled. So thank God, like Heather and her mom like took over a lot of that because I had other stuff going on.
Yeah.
But like we get to the end, like the trim work and the finesse, and like I had to make a threshold for the door this week, and I'm sitting here, I'm like, I can't do this.
That's ironic because my dad actually could, and I inherited none of that.
Yeah, you may not know that about Uncle Jimmy there.
Yeah.
His dad is freaking an amazing finish carpenter.
Dude, here's a crazy thing, okay? We've been friends for like 3 years. I have met your parents twice, I think.
Did you say we've been friends for 3 years?
7 years.
You really undercut that relationship.
Well, it's felt like 20.
He didn't want to admit those other years.
I just don't count the Bibles.
About that. But no, actually, I want to step back here for a minute. You're talking about, people my age. One thing that's really hit this past year is young kids like coming to me with an interest. And it's been awesome.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Guitar playing or building?
Both.
Really?
Like I've got so much hope for the future right now of music and building. It's so cool.
Oh, no, let me say the current young ones right now, they're right tracking. Yeah, they're good. Well, it's the couple in between.
Oh, dude, we were trash. We were trash. I'm sorry. I'll say it.
Yeah, you're a rarity in your generation because are you a millennial?
I don't know what those eras are. I always you probably are. I'm a little.
Well, I mean, we have this discussion every week. I'm I'm younger than every rose has its thorn. We'll put it there and we'll leave it at that.
Crazy.
We're the greatest generation that there's ever been.
Generation X.
Gen X, baby. We're the ones.
We're the ones.
We were raised by boomers who did not care.
Nope.
And then
and it shows.
But here's the thing. If that's the case, why are our kids so? Why is the generation after us so awful? If we were so good, I mean? Because the generation after us would have been the product of the generation before us.
Yeah, that's true.
Why.
That's why
That's
you just figured it out. You
job.
figured it out. So,
good job,
Kevin.
Ding, ding, ding.
Take us into
And now back to our guest.
Take us into Menace 2.0. Like what happened? Okay, so you met Corey. You got a bunch of guitars on Broadway.
Yeah.
What's Menace 2.0? What's something started to change here? I'd say within the last 12 months, even.
Dude, the last 12 months have been crazy. So,
talk about it.
So the deal was, whenever I first started Menace, I was working at a job where that was taking a lot of my time away. Couldn't really put time and effort into the shop, music, playing out, stuff like that. And just honestly, miserable at life. And so me and Heather started talking about, hey, let's find a new job. Actually, I'll never forget the day that like the switch flipped. And I know I've shared this story with you, but Cody Johnson, if we can tag him and get a hold of him, I need to talk to him personally about
you hear it, Cody. Where you at, Cody Johnson?
But no, seriously, his song "Till You Can't." I will never forget the day I was working a stupid schedule at work, and I went out to the shop to do some work on a guitar before I went in, and turned on the radio out there, and that song came on the radio. First time I've ever heard it, and I just sat there and I started bawling. I'm like, man, this song,
Now hold on, I gotta ask.
Yeah.
Again, interrupting.
Go for
is
it.
that the song that Laura always made you sing?
Yes, it is.
I thought it was.
That's the one.
Great
That's the
song.
one.
Great song. So I went in the house and I told Heather, I'm like, hey, can I quit my job? I am unhappy here. You know this. You know how life's going right now. And she's like, no, we have bills.
Yeah, that sucks.
So anyhow, I finished up in the shop, went into work, But that moment, like later that day, she actually made a post on Facebook saying, hey, who's hiring? I know somebody. She didn't say is my husband, but started getting messages. And actually a family friend reached out saying, hey, this place is hiring. You should have them apply here. So I got looking. I'm like, you know what? I think I could do this. So I applied for the job, got it. And that's kind of when life changed. Like my new employer, really laid back, really cool people. I enjoy it every day. I leave at 4:00. Nothing follows me home.
That's nice.
So, but you stepped that you were a people manager at your old job.
Yeah, right? I was production.
And I know from and we both know it's
dude.
You don't work. People are like, what time do you get off? It's like, I don't.
No, like we ran 2 shifts, 24 hours a day, and had 2 lines inside Toyota. It was just It was a mess. So anyhow, started this new job, and it allowed us more time for family activities, more time for us playing music out. I mean, we really picked up within the past 2 years playing out. And it also allowed me more time in the shop, and I started picking up more builds. But probably the moment that changed everything was last year. My childhood hero, Stephen Curtis Chapman.
Yeah.
Dude, he started like following along on some of my stories and was popping up, and I know he was seeing my stuff. And I saw where he was going to be coming to town in Evansville. And I thought, you know what? I'm just going to shoot him a message, because worst he can say is no.
Right.
So I shot him a message, told him, hey, man, growing up, you're the whole reason why I want to play a Telecaster guitar. Can I build you a guitar? And surprisingly enough, it went on read. Like 2 weeks went by. I didn't hear anything back. I'm like, all right, well, he saw it. I tried.
Yeah.
But then next thing you know, I'm getting a random message one day, and it's Steven. He said, hey, man, he said, sorry, just saw your message, but been talking with my manager and would love to. That's awesome. And so me and Stephen Curtis Chapman start having like this email chain back and forth.
And you were probably like, oh, man, this is...
Dude, like...
Yeah, that dude. So so for those who've listened that don't know, most will, if you're talking Christian music, Stephen Curtis Chapman is the godfather.
Dude,
he is the godfather.
He is the godfather. He
over
was the GOAT.
50 number one songs. I mean, he's been doing this since 1987.
We used to rock him. Remember that in our very late teens?
I love
that.
I still, to this day, I will every once in a while, I'll play the Signs of Life.
Signs of Life. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Lord of the Dance.
Yeah.
So the Signs of Life song itself, though, where he says it was like he was an alien or coming from a rock. I don't remember. I don't really remember the exact thing, but he's just the godfather, man.
Yeah.
When it comes to Christian music, he's the godfather.
So this was your...
Dude, I was like 13-year-old me inside was like
absolutely
totally freaking out about this. So actually, we did a whole fundraiser. We did Menace Guitar t-shirts, which thank you both. You purchased one. I appreciate the support on that.
Let's see.
But
Brian still doesn't have a hat.
Didn't get a hat.
I'm sorry. I got to get new hats. Actually, help me design the next Menace hat. I've been talking about that here for some time.
Yeah, you tell me what you want. We can come up with something, man, for sure.
But anyhow,
although I really like those, you're not gonna beat that a lot, because that is your exact headstock, man, and branding is everything. That's a good.
Well, actually,
but you know what we can do? We can probably make that thing pop.
Okay, we'll segue into this hat here in a minute.
Okay, but that's part of the 2.0.
It is. It really is. So Stephen Curtis Chapman, we built a guitar for him. It was 100% funded by family, friends, anyone that follows the Menace page. They bought t-shirts. We had a Menace open house that apparently Jimmy left his guitar at.
I hope.
And dude, that day was crazy.
It was.
Like, it was in my shop, which is nothing fancy. I mean, it's just a 30 by 40 pole barn. There's some motorcycles in there, some cars, and a lot of sawdust.
Yeah.
And that day, there's probably 150 people that came through for a solid 2 hours.
Yeah.
And so in September, we got a chance to deliver Stephen's guitar to him in person at the Victory Theater. First time I've ever met him. I've seen him in concert probably 10, 15 times, but actually got to meet him, hang out backstage. My whole family got to go, along with my mom, stepdad, aunt, uncle, cousins. And it was just such a cool moment to hang out with him and talk guitars and talk about, his influence and stuff. So that was like the first moment where I'm like, I made a guitar for someone that, people have grew up with.
Right.
And looked up to. So there was that, and kept on making some guitars from there. And the next like big thing that happened last year, like I didn't even realize how big it was, like until I talked to you about this.
Where were we? We were playing.
We were playing in Hobstadt at the Mustang Horse Ranch.
Yes.
And just in conversation between sets, I told Jimmy, I said, hey, man, I got a text message the other night from some guy in Owensboro. His name's Catfish. He plays in a band called Ol 60, and he's talking about guitar. Right. And I'm like, all right, he's Owensboro, whatever. And Jimmy's like, oh, man, they're blowing up right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, he's from Owensboro. What do you mean? I'm like, me and this guy, we've been like Facebook friends for 3 years. I'm like, what's the big deal? And he started telling me, he goes, Ol 60 is blowing up right now. He goes, Mikey, Rachel, they are all like,
you know what? I got to intervene here just for a second. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Because when he first said it was in Owensboro and you got excited, you know who I thought it was going to be?
John Brennan?
Yes.
True story.
Yeah, bro. Exactly.
Nobody outside of our age you probably don't know who that is, do you?
No, sir.
Tell him, Brian.
Okay, so John Brennan was and I don't even know, what was his last name?
John Brennan.
Yeah. He was
John Brennan.
Did you just ask what his last name was?
Yes. He was on a TV show called The Real World.
An MTV reality show.
Okay, yeah.
This was one of the first few reality shows ever.
It might have been the first.
It might have been the first.
So they brought all these people in, like 5 people or something, however many, and they lived in a house together.
Picked to live in a house.
John Brennan was from Owensboro, but had hopes of being a country star. And dude, he was all out, sold in on the bit, like cowboy hat, mullet. But this wasn't Morgan Wallen days. We're talking
right. 90s.
Garth Brooks.
Early 90s.
It's still Garth Brooks days. I would always be.
Yeah.
But this was back in the Clint Black days, those guys.
Yeah.
And he wore like the big bold country shirts and whatever, but he was good. The guy was actually decent.
Yeah, he was good. But what's funny is how he dressed and how he looked then. All these kids like Zach Top.
Look at him now.
That's how the kids look now.
He would be a star today, probably. So
anyway, the little intro that they all had their voice, and it was like this is the true story, and his little blurb was true story. So listen, ask Logan East about John Brennan, because John Brennan played at Logan's grandma's place, at Goldie's Opry House. So
about Goldie's.
So
right?
we're getting way off. We'll get back to Catfish.
Let's go. But that's what happens.
But this is what happens. So
this is life here.
Sam Hahn is a very great musician and an up and comer right now who's killing it. Logan East, David East's son. I
met David last night. By the way,
did? Did he play? Did he play anything?
He did not.
Should have.
He's an alien.
Man, he is not normal. He is an amazing musician. So anyway, Logan
he used to go to churches like to visit, and everybody would be upset. They'd be scared to death because every time he came, there would be broken keys on the piano.
He's busting keys. You should see this guy play piano.
He's a key buster.
So anyway, Logan inherited all that from him. So you see the talent that Logan has.
That kid.
Long story short, Goldie from Goldie's Opry House is Logan's grandmother.
Right.
So I guarantee you Logan can tell you John Brennan stories.
Well, we will have to ask him.
See, we brought it all back around.
Here it is.
Real World's probably going to be back on TV.
I wouldn't doubt it.
I think it's actually on.
True story.
Season 498 now.
Oh my gosh.
So, okay.
But Real World has spawned several. Isn't that where Lady Gaga come from?
No.
Yeah, the chick that's Lady Gaga was another person.
Google it.
Hey, all right.
So. Google that.
You guys podcast.
I can tell you there have been some people who have, not the Real World, but the Real World. Okay, remember there were Road Rules where they did the same thing in a camper. You know who came from that?
Who?
I bet you'll never guess. I'm going to tell you. Theo Vaughn. Oh, that was his introduction into.
Okay, I do remember that. I knew that.
I've been wondering where he came from.
That's where he came from.
Okay.
I mean, he just got picked to be on that show, and then his career spawned from there. Then he got into stand-up comedy, and the rest is history.
Now he's doing what you guys do. Probably looks up to you.
I would think so. He's probably got some ideas and tips from the DeTalented Podcast.
Of course.
I mean, why wouldn't he? So he's searching. Was Lady Gaga on MTV's Real World? I'm glad you cleared your search from when we were talking about that Diddy episode. You don't want to know, Kevin.
I heard. I watched when you guys
was on Boiling Points.
Okay, that's what it was. And she was known by her real name, Stephanie Germanata.
Germanata.
Okay. Interesting. The more you know.
They thought I was going to get sick, but that germ was not going to get me.
That's what I appreciate about this podcast. I feel like people tune in and learn interesting facts every week.
Dude, that's why I play with you. I mean, I learn something new every time.
I mean, dude, some of the facts just so far that people have learned, they've learned that our chief police was the chief of the 257th largest city in the United States.
That is a fact.
We learned that Norm died on the anniversary of the show's last episode.
That's right.
We learned that it was YouTube's birthday on YouTube's birthday, and the next day YouTube said it was the birthday when we were talking about it.
You heard it here first.
Dude, I learned something off your podcast.
What?
See, here we go.
Tell us.
Evansville had an NFL team.
Oh,
dude, and you guys are blowing up on
That's
that.
the blow up one for some reason.
Dude, insane.
Isn't that crazy?
Congratulations, guys.
It's got almost like 65,000 views on that.
No, it's like 69.
Is it? Yeah, well,
68, 70.
Whatever,
70,
something. But none of that compares to having a guitar builder in the studio.
That's true.
At this stature.
Wow.
That's true. So then jumping back into the story.
Dude, where did we go?
So where you saw this message from a guy from Owensboro.
Like I said, me and him's been friends.
Yeah.
He's in Owensboro. He
Didn't
plays
think
in
anything
bands.
about it. Yeah.
Yeah, he just messaged me. What's the big deal? And you're like, no, dude, you got to call Mikey up and tell him about this.
Yeah.
So we were heading up to Jasper after that.
Mikey went to this concert last week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He went to the one in Beaver Dam.
Yeah.
Sold out.
Yeah. Actually, record.
Yeah, record ticket sales,
They
right?
sold more tickets there. Biggest crowd they've ever had.
So then,
I mean, it was...
Mikey was a huge fan.
Dude, Mikey, like... He fangirled.
He did.
Like, I called him up. I told him about this. He goes, "Oh my God, are you serious?"
Yeah.
And he's going through the roof on this, and I'm like, I'm still not buying this 60.
Mikey?
60. I'm sorry, guys, but
Mikey.
I'd heard Brother Joe, like, which that song right there is something that deserves its own topic.
Absolutely.
But yeah, like I said, I didn't think anything of it. So I told Heather, she's driving, or she's in passenger seat. I said, hey, look these guys up. So she hops on Spotify and she goes, babe, they have millions of streams.
Yeah.
I'm like, no. I'm like, these guys, they're from Owensboro. I'm like, you're looking at this wrong. She goes, no, there's 2 commas there. And sure enough, like Smoking a Light, like it was 2 commas.
Dude, do you know, Owensboro's put out a lot of...
Dude, there's so many talented people.
There's a lot of
down
talented people down there, man.
I don't like him, but
wow.
old dude's from there.
Who? No.
The actor, George Clooney.
No, he's not.
No.
Is he from Owensboro?
Johnny Depp?
Johnny Depp's from Owensboro.
Man, I think George Clooney is.
Look it up.
Google it.
Google it.
So anyhow, Mikey blew me up about this. So you and him both like, hey, you need to build this guy a guitar.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, we're talking about this. So the next day, me and Fish are messaging.
Close, Lexington.
I was close.
You were
Lexington.
close.
Kentucky. Yeah.
Kentucky.
Go ahead.
Next day, me and Fish were texting back and forth, and he's telling me what he wants in a build. So I go through, I put him a quote together, I send it to him, and he comes back with, well, let me talk with my wife. And you guys know how that goes.
Oh, yeah.
Right? I mean,
if you talk with your wife, a lot of things don't happen.
They just had a baby.
I understand.
He's, touring musician. I'm like, dude, this isn't going to happen. And you and Mikey were both like, hey, if we have to, we'll fund this guitar.
Yep.
And I'm like,
Jimmy and Mikey were going to fund the old 60 guitar.
Yeah, they were. Jimmy told me, he goes, hey, he said,
I said it.
He goes, I seriously, he goes, do you think you can get me an opening act with 60? If so, I'll fund this guitar. So I messaged Fish. I'm like, hey, man, I got a proposition for you. I'm like, here's my buddy Jimmy DeTalented. Check out his stuff. Do you think you can get him an opening slot?
And he was like, no.
He said it a lot more politely. He goes, well, we got...
It was the soft letdown.
He's like, we got this label
where
now.
There's management involved.
We don't really get to pick things.
Yeah.
So anyhow, we got thinking, we're like, all right, let's do a guitar. Let's build this somehow. And that's where these hats actually came up. So me and Fish got talking, which he's a tattoo artist, phenomenal. And every single show, he hand draws set list. And he'll sign them and hand them out to the crowd. So I struck a deal. I said, here's the deal. Give me 10 of your set list and design me a hat. And we will get sponsors for this guitar. And we will fully fund it. And sure enough, that's what ended up happening. So,
and you did that pretty quick, didn't you?
Dude, we sold out in like no time. It was 10 $100 sponsors.
Yeah.
And they all got the hat that Jimmy's wearing and a signed set list.
So hold on. So, okay.
You didn't even.
So since that point.
You got a pan to the hat.
Since then. Okay. Well, with the hat that you got on?
Yeah. This hat right here.
Yeah,
That hat right there.
Say it again, Kevin.
So Fish designed this hat for us. So it's got his Catfish logo inside the Menace headstock. And yeah.
That looks good. I love the hat.
There is 10 of those hats, and that is it.
In existence.
But here's what I want to know, though. So since that time, they've blown up even bigger.
Dude, they're huge.
Has he actually bought a guitar now yet?
Fish has got another guitar on the way.
All right, I figured. That's awesome.
And that one's going to be, I'm excited to see
it's
that
gonna
one.
it's going to be awesome.
You can't talk too much about that one.
No, we can talk all about
can
it.
you?
Like,
We'll talk about it. I want to hear.
We can spill the beans
I'll tell you what.
on the DeTalented
You
Podcast.
heard it here first.
You heard it here first.
You heard
But
it
let's
here
do
first.
this. Let's take a break.
Okay.
And then when we come back, we'll jump right back into
I
the
like
Kevin
it.
Minnis guitar story. And no telling where else we're going to go.
Who knows?
Do it.
So we shall be right back.
Who's your dad? I guarantee you.
So we're back, everybody.
we're on.
We're on. And you're actually on camera right now.
Talk to your dad.
We are talking about something that just happened in a parking lot recently, and it was too good not to just go ahead and come back in from the break.
I was upset.
Yeah. So say it again. What was it? You parked somewhere.
we played at Marina Point, and I parked perfectly. Like I always get out and look
right.
at the lines. I'm straight. So I come out after we play the show, and I see this little yellow tag on my windshield wiper, underneath my windshield wiper, and it was like, "Oh, sorry, you parked. You're an a-hole," or whatever it says. And I like rip it off my windshield. I'm like, "Who did this? Show yourself!"
Guarantee you, Jeff Minnis.
Jeff Minnis.
So you think it was your dad?
You
Dude,
got
I
me,
know
Jeff.
it 100% because he was there that night.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, that was him.
That was your dad.
That was him totally.
You got me, Jeff. Mr. Solved.
All this time you've been plotting.
Oh, I was like,
I will find this person.
I was. It's like, how could you argue with this parking job?
But I bet you
know
saved
what-
that, and you're going to put it on someone
You know
else's.
what-
Oh, absolutely. Who deserves it?
You know
Right.
what? You know what it reminds me of? Kevin, have you ever heard the story when the guy on Green River Road got mad at Jimmy and Sarah was driving and called Sarah a little whore? Have you ever heard that story?
Oh, I probably didn't tell.
I don't think I have.
We just lost our G rating.
Yeah, we do that a lot.
It is what it
Yeah.
is. It is what this is true life. What happened?
Your podcast.
Yeah, I know. They're driving one time, man, and I don't know what you got to tell a little bit of kind of what lay that out.
That's
a good story, man.
We're driving, and I pulled out somewhere.
Don't hold back.
And I guess I pulled out in front of this guy, and Sarah was behind me in her car. I pulled out, and I guess in front of this guy, he thought, and he's flipping me off and yelling, and I think it's funny, and I kind of give him, stick my tongue out or whatever I do.
I'm sure.
Yeah, to him. So I didn't think anything of it. And it was like, at that time I was like 19. It's like dumb old man. He was probably like 30. You know what I mean? So he pulls around, dude. I'm at the stoplight. He pulls around and gets out of his minivan. And at the time, like, I'm like, what's this idiot doing? So I jump out, and we're in each other's faces, and we're yelling at each other. I'm getting ready to rear back and hit this dude. And then Sarah walks up, and she was like, I don't know why she said this, but she was like, "Sir, I'm going to call my dad." And he goes, "Go ahead and call your dad, you little slut." And I lost it, dude.
Half mad that Sarah thought her dad could help him.
That was the first part I got mad at. And then
He's like a small little guy.
by then he had, it was dissipating when she kind of ramped it back up.
She does that.
He was, he was getting in his car because we were settled down, and he said, "Get your dad, you little slut." I jump on the dude's hood and start shaking his minivan back and forth. "Get out of your minivan!"
Here's what gets me. If it would have been me on the scene fighting Jimmy and I would have called her that, she would have tackled me like the water boy.
Oh, yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah,
So why would you-
without hesitation.
Yeah.
Why does she need daddy for that one?
But at that point, when I jumped on his hood, the light had turned green. This was all during the length of a stoplight.
Don't you wish they had cell phone cameras back then?
Oh, this would have been on, yeah.
Dude, it would have been on video and we would have been, oh no, I don't know. People are probably lucky we didn't have cell phones.
So then
absolutely.
he started to drive, and I jumped off, and then that was it. But yeah, how did that come up?
Dude, I don't know.
That's pretty
I don't know,
random.
but if that guy's like watching this podcast, he's like, I remember that guy.
You remember? Yeah. You remember? Guy?
Hey, I'll give you my address right now.
I hope he shows up in the comments.
I hope he shows up at my house.
What was his name? Carl Franz?
Oh no, that was another guy we got in an accident with. That was his fault.
How do I remember? Carl Franz is a guy you wrecked with.
Yeah.
Dude, Carl Franz probably isn't even around anymore.
Man,
he was an older guy when
he was
were,
older back then.
Yeah.
That was down there by the Duck Inn, which is not there
right.
anymore.
It was it was really closer to the pantry,
wasn't
yeah.
it? Yeah.
It was right on like Covert and Burdett.
Well, he was
or Pollock and Burdett.
He was turning left, and I was trying to pass.
It was definitely your fault.
I
played it off that day, and I agreed with you because I felt bad. But that dude was turning, and you went up try to lane split him.
What's the statute of limitations on that?
About that?
I'm sure it's over now.
that had to be 30 years ago.
We're 50, and I don't think we were 20.
Yeah, that was over 30 years ago. Man,
how's that feel? He just said we're 50.
So I'm 50. He's not. He is 49.
Bro, why are you doing that to yourself?
Well,
because his birthday's August 1st.
Yeah. So
still, you're not.
I'm 49. I did it for the sake of fluidity and saying that story. But
you're just trying to make him feel better.
But I've been saying I'm 50 for a while now.
I'm the only one that's not 50. Sarah's 50. Laura's 50. Laura's 56.
Ooh.
And Jimmy's 50.
I am.
And
I am.
I'm 49.
49.
Kevin's still pooping yellow.
That's right.
You hear that a lot from your older friends. He's still pooping yellow. That's definitely a redneck hillbilly.
Is it?
Oh yeah.
Older person saying
Southern thing, probably.
Yeah.
Which my dad was the king of for some reason. I had so many Southern sayings. Like I'd smart off to my dad.
Yeah.
I don't know why my favorite one that stuck. He would say, "I will beat you more ways than a farmer knows the town." That's what he would say. All right, cool. But we were talking about guitars before we left.
So then, we were talking about guitars, and we were talking about Menace 2.0, and you got your guitar.
60.
And so tell me this, and you said, 060 was doing a lot of things. Then they even kept, they've blown up, I'd say exponentially since then. So tell us some of the stages that your Menace guitar has been on here in the past few months.
So this year started off the Grand Old Opry.
That's a pretty good start.
Started off on the Grand Old Opry.
So we did this whole
pretty good. Hey, Kevin, I don't know how well the rest of the year is going to go, buddy.
Yeah, that how we were talking about setting the bar here.
Yeah,
we set it up too high with that one.
Yeah, right.
But no, we built that guitar for Fish, got it done at the end of the year, and then he goes, "Hey, by the way, we're playing the Grand Old Opry here next month. I'm going to take this guitar with me." I'm like, "Are you serious?"
Yeah.
So he did not take that guitar with him because we learned a lot of trial and error.
But he took a Menace, though.
He took a Menace that night. But that's a cool thing, too, is that I love about Fish is, here's the deal. I'm not a professional. I'm YouTube certified, and I'm learning as I go with this. And me and Fish have learned a lot together here over the years. And he's straightforward and honest with me. He doesn't blow any smoke. He'll come to me and be like, "Hey, man, what you did here was cool. Do you think we can tweak this? Can we do that?" And like, absolutely. So him and the guys in 60 been over my house multiple times hanging out. Well, you and me even went down to his shop in Owensboro, did some work on a guitar for him. And actually the night before the Grand Old Opry, he's like, "Hey, man, I was playing this and I noticed this just isn't right." So he came over to the house, him, his wife, his baby girl, all hanging out there until like midnight. And I'm like trying to tweak this.
Yeah.
And what we ended up learning that night was Fish likes a different scale length guitar. Like that, the guitar that we built him was like a Fender scale length. And
he likes that Gibson.
He's used to Gibson. So whenever he's playing this, it just doesn't feel the same as what it was on his Les Paul and his SG. So I'm like, "Hey, easy fix. Take this guitar, and this gives me an excuse to build a new neck and try something new." So
you did a shorter scale.
Did a shorter scale, and now that guitar has been his number one guitar.
And that's been on stages where?
Outside
of the Grand Old Opry.
So, all over the place. He just took it down to Sand in My Boots Festival with Morgan Wallen. He was at Railbird with it. Every single one of their shows, it's been at that. It's getting ready to go to London into this month with Zach Bryan. It's pretty cool.
What about, it was Post Malone and Jelly Roll somewhere, right? Did they do, was that Railbird?
Jelly was Railbird. Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
I thought was Post Malone at Sand in My Boots. I can't remember. I thought
it's
I'm pretty sure that it was
Jelly Roll. If you hear this, we need you to come on this podcast.
There again,
gosh,
Jelly
that guy
Roll
right there.
Yeah.
You know, that's what we need.
That
Jelly.
would be awesome.
Jelly, we're right down the road from you. You used to come and play.
That's right.
You guys played Marina Point the other night.
Yeah.
Jelly used to play Marina Point all the time before.
Isn't that
we blew up.
crazy?
Isn't
So
it?
if you think about that, Jelly Roll played there before us.
So Jelly
Roll
Roll
kind of opened up
for
for
us.
us. And
Did you hear that, Jelly?
Jelly Roll, Dina Carter. I mean, you name
Well,
it.
Dina Carter actually did open
really-
up for us.
Oh, she did.
Playing my amp.
Well,
That's right. Another one. She did open up for us. Well, yeah, she did. And then all the people left.
I was going to say, wasn't that one of them deals where you kind of closed for her?
We closed for her, and then after she played Strawberry Wine,
So for the record, that
didn't
was
see
my
him.
first rodeo,
that was my first rodeo too.
and we've learned.
My first
have.
rodeo was awesome, and it was last year too.
mine
But
was-
yours was a couple years ago, wasn't it?
That was
My
yeah.
first
Kevin,
rodeo was awesome too. It's
so-
actually my birthday.
Yeah, that's right.
My
It was.
first rodeo was in the infield when we camped at Talladega. They got-
You were telling me about that.
yeah, dude, it was really cool. And then the night after
Hardy.
that on the same field was Hardy.
Hardy,
It was cool.
yeah.
Yeah.
Dude,
Yeah.
Hardy, another one. Hey, Jelly, Hardy, Cody Johnson.
Any of you
Call 'em-
bangers,
anybody.
Hit me up,
Call
hit
them
me
all.
up.
you guys feel like changing some old men's lives? Come on, what?
I mean, here's the thing though. In the day and age we live, you never know.
You never know.
I mean, it's crazy some of the conversations I've found myself in that I never dreamed
Yeah.
I would be talking with these guys.
and here you are. I mean, you're doing
with Brian and Jimmy right now.
I was going to say.
I mean,
you were
got a
here.
text message saying, "Hey, can you come be on this podcast?" I'm like, I made it, Mom. I called it up. I'm like,
you called a lot of your family. At
It
that
will be
point, didn't
seen
you?
by tens of people.
yeah, for sure. No, back to stage is one that's super cool. That's been like a bucket list for me. Is this fall Red Rocks? I mean, I think
You're going out there, right?
yeah, me and Heather
Yeah.
are actually going to fly out there and hang out with those guys. And yeah, Menace Guitar on Red Rock stage. Who would have ever?
That's pretty amazing. Who are they there with?
They are there with Charles Wesley Godwin.
Okay.
So
That's good. And you're going?
Yeah.
Dude. So that's one place I never got to go, but all of my friends did. So when I graduated high school that next summer, we went to several Dead shows.
Okay.
I did not go to that one. Some of my friends did go to that one. I wish I would have, because Red Rocks is,
Dude, it's iconic.
yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that's where everybody wants to play.
And you know who the big names that go there? Like I got buddies. One buddy, his name's Jay Gallegos. He's my boy. I ain't talked to him in a long time. What's up, Jay? If you run across this, but he's a big Dave Matthews fan. They
Okay.
play Red Rocks.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I think just once a year or whatever. But I would love to go to Red Rocks. That's gonna be cool.
Same.
man.
That's been like a bucket
But
list.
here's
for
the
me.
thing, though. You better get some cardio in before you go. Have you seen this? Just the stairs to get in and out.
stupid.
It's crazy, dude.
So, yeah, I guess that leaves me out. I get winded coming up these stairs. Probably I'll never go.
We'll get you a little motorized scooter.
I was so impressed last week that Bub walked up them steps.
Man, he did.
Like nothing, you
And
know?
He did better than I did.
He did better than both of us did.
Yeah.
You know, his legs work and his lungs.
Yeah.
How do you get both to work?
I don't.
I
I'm
thought
trying
it
to
was
figure-
one or the
I'm
other.
Trying to figure that
My
out.
whole life, it's been
Trying to
one or
figure
the
it out.
other.
Yeah.
No, but so you're going to Red Rocks, man, and that's cool. And then so that's Old 60, right? Still,
Yes,
we're
sir.
still talking about Old 60.
Yeah.
This is Catfish, the guitars for Old
Yep.
60. And he is now, it sounds like, pretty much fully converted to a Menace guitar.
Dude, and that's the thing that's awesome is these guys could be playing absolutely anything that they want.
Yeah.
And the fact that they choose to play a Menace and support me, it's been truly humbling.
But that's what I meant a while ago when I said it don't even take much of a musician to pick up an instrument and be like, yeah,
This feels right.
yeah.
And that's the thing, like whenever we do a build together, I want to make sure that this is a guitar that you're going to go to.
Yeah.
I mean, prime example with Fish, okay? He's playing this, something isn't right. What can we do to change it to make it where it fits you, to where this is going to be your go-to instrument every
Yeah.
single night?
So then talk about, you said before the break, you said you're going to talk about the new one that you're building for
Okay.
him.
I think I know which star it is.
Oh,
Can I guess?
We're going there? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, here it is. If I'm wrong, just tell
Now,
me.
hold on. What are you getting ready to guess? Who the next artist coming up is?
Yeah.
Okay, we weren't going to get there yet, but
Well, who do you
I think
think?
I know, though.
Okay. Who?
actually,
Chad DeTalented.
has he picked lessons back up?
Yeah.
Has he?
No.
That was honestly our deal with that last guitar. He's supposed to play a worship service.
He's going to.
Is he?
Yeah.
All right.
You
That's
know
kinda-
he's going to. All right. he's gonna make you teach him like 3 songs that he can memorize.
3 songs.
Jimmy's like, no. I only agreed to 1.
We're doing like 2 chords.
2 chords and his channel's
You know
muted.
what's funny is I didn't know about this deal. No, his channel can't be muted. Everyone else's channel is muted.
Can you imagine?
Everything will be in your ears, but out in the audience, it will just all be him.
All Chad.
No, okay. I'm sorry. That was silly and stupid.
So talk about this guitar, the second guitar you're building.
All right, so here's the deal. Catfish, he is tattoo artist, super talented dude, and we're doing a Smokey and a Bandit themed guitar, which is awesome.
Oh man,
yeah,
dude. Here's the thing. That is my all-time favorite movie. And
Kevin, it's one of mine too. Kevin, we're okay. There we go, babe. We got something in common.
That's
That more than we already did.
But we learned that night that is Fish's favorite movie too.
Okay.
So like we instantly bonded over Smokey and the Bandit. So we've got this black night shifter model, which is what I call it. It's like nothing else that I do.
Mm-hmm.
We've tweaked it to, this is probably like the 5th revision I've done of this guitar. And he's going to go through and gold leaf it and put the bird and all the art and everything on it. I'm working with some machine shops in town that's going to go through an engine turn, like all the hardware on it. And it's going to be...
Dude, that sounds awesome, man.
So how can this not be his number 1 guitar?
Dude, that's the thing. Once he gets this thing, it's going to
be it.
And
yeah,
dude, it's going to be an eye catcher. And that's what's great is Fish is playing these shows.
I will only allow this transaction to happen if when he gets up there at some point in the night.
Oh, dude, eastbound and down.
Yes.
Dude, he sat down. Dude, Fish is such a cool guy. Like
we got a long way to go.
He comes over and he just sits down on my love seat
Yeah.
and he's just hanging out and he's just sitting there playing guitar the whole time.
Yeah.
And we just sit and visit and dude, almost every time outbust Jerry Reed. I mean, you can't help but love Jerry Reed.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
awesome.
man.
Got to play that song
So,
on that
of course,
guitar.
yeah.
But no, anyhow, Fish has been just so instrumental into introducing me to other people and sending people my way. And that kind of goes into our next artist and everything coming up. You know, he's helped giving me some brand recognition. People see him out on the road playing this. And anytime he's at a show and there's somebody else on the tour, he's constantly handing his guitar off. Hey, man, play this. Let me know what you think. What do you think? And I've gotten so many follows just because of Fish, of like national touring acts, and crazy because, like I said, you never know who you're going to end up in a conversation with.
Yeah.
Just today, we sent out a couple quotes to artists that plays with Hudson Westbrook,
Okay.
John Morgan,
Yeah.
and then we got another really big one that's in the works right now. I don't know if you guys have heard of artist by the name of Ella Langley.
A little bit, yeah.
A little
Yeah.
bit. I mean, she's doing all right this year.
Yeah, a little bit.
2025. Like,
Doing okay.
Isn't she the one that sings "You Look Like You Love Me" or whatever?
Yes.
Yeah.
With Riley Green.
Dude, that's Malia's jam, baby.
Is that really?
Yeah.
so she performed on the ACMs, and I'm halfway friends with her guitar player at this point in time. We have a mutual guitar builder friend that's hooked us up with some tickets, and we've met him once. And the night of the ACMs, I just shot him a message. I'm like, hey, dude, you know, congrats on all the wins tonight. Great performance. And again, I don't expect to hear anything back from him. Next thing you know, I get a message back saying, hey, man, really appreciate that. We should do a build. I'm like,
Sweet.
I'm like sitting over here on the couch. I'm like, are you serious? Heather's like, what? I'm like, I'm talking to Ella's guitar player right now. And by the way, this is breakthrough news right here. I haven't mentioned this to anyone.
You heard it here
first.
So
This all sounds good. It sounds like Catfish needs to come on and talk to us. That's
Dude,
what I think.
That you should talk to Catfish.
I bet
See
he
if
would
he
do
wants
that.
to.
You need
Dude,
to
that boy,
facilitate
that
that.
boy loves to talk.
Well,
Sounds like he's a fantastic conversation. So
yeah.
it'd be awesome.
We can
Tell
make
him.
that happen.
Tell him to come up and talk to a bunch of old guys.
But let's talk about Kevin Minnis right now.
Let's talk about
Let's
Kevin
talk about
Minnis.
Kevin Minnis
Oh.
guitars. Let's talk about Minnis guitars. And so Ella Langley's guitar player is now in the the conversation.
Every single day, me and this guy are talking back and forth. He's like,
Man,
my new bestie here. It's like crazy. I've got
Aren't you aren't you guys sending photos of the places where you're playing versus him?
so yeah, true story there. The day that they were playing down at Morgan Wallen's festival, singing in my boots.
Uh-huh.
And me and him's just having a conversation that day. I'm like, hey, you know, what time you go on? Because Fish is down there too. Like,
Yeah.
maybe you guys can hook up. And he sends me a picture back of like this private jet with a red carpet laid out. He goes, we actually just got in. I think we play at 4:30 today. And I respond back. I'm like, yeah, that's how I'm getting my gig tonight too.
do you know the only difference between him and you?
What's that?
He plays for Ella Langley, and you play with Jimmy DeTalented.
Where's that one song, bro?
Man, one
You know,
song.
I
that's
heard a
it.
wise man say, You need to write more hits.
Why can't you just write a hit?
That's all it takes.
Thanks, Big Jim DeTalent, for that sage advice.
Hey, that's what dads are for, baby.
But yeah, no, we've just sort of been like swapping pictures of our venues and stuff.
Yeah.
Like they just played the CMA Fest, like right there on
We
like
just played Marina Point.
Oh no, he said, "Hey, we're playing actually the Riverfront tonight." I said, "Oh, dude, we are too."
Same thing.
And
Yeah.
I sent him, a picture of us at the Riverfront. You're actually probably in that picture I sent to him. I took it like of the crowd there.
Yeah.
So, but no, super, super cool dude. And like I said, I'm sitting here. I'm like, how do I get in this position here? But
Well, it's your talent and your hard work. How about that?
That's exactly what it is,
Yeah.
man.
dude,
But God's got something to do with it because every good gift comes from God. We know that.
For sure.
But, at the same time, I never want to discount hard work and dedication. And like I said, that's why it's so impressive that a guy your age is doing a craft like that. I mean, it's not normal.
Yeah.
And not to say that you're the only one, because there are other kids you're not a kid, but there are other younger adults than us, which when I say kids, I don't mean it disrespectfully. It's just,
Well,
we're old, man.
Everybody's younger than us. at this point.
Yeah. So when you see young people that, like I said, kind of go after stuff like that, man, it's just cool, man.
Yeah,
I'm proud of you, and you're young to us and you've been around us for a while. So we got a little proudness factor going on of you. So it's awesome, man.
I think it's who you surround yourself with too.
Well,
For sure.
To an extent.
I don't know.
Even though sometimes you can surround yourself with bad people and still have good stuff happen to you.
You're the testimony.
But no, man. I mean, seriously, like if you surround yourself with people who are like-minded and chasing common things, and they're going to help you get to those.
Yeah.
So that's, one thing I try to do is put myself around people I want to be like.
Let me tell you the biggest thing that I noticed just from talking to you, and I know this about you anyway, but this is why you're doing well, and it's the reason you'll continue to do well, is you're really dedicated to quality. You're not putting out no junk.
Try not to.
Yeah.
I mean, and here's the
You're
thing.
not.
If it is,
I mean,
we're going to make it right.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's commitment to quality.
I mean-
So I'm not saying you won't put nothing out wrong. Wrong is different than something that's not made with quality. I mean, you're making this stuff with your hands and you care about it.
Dude, my name's on
Yeah,
it.
you're there.
Yeah.
That's why.
I mean,
Exactly.
if I put my
that's
name
the
on
thing most
something-
young people don't care about.
No.
Yeah. The fact that you carry your names attached to it.
Absolutely.
Right? That's why you're driving through it, making sure that the quality's good. And that's why you've got old 60 and new 70 and whoever.
But no,
all
like,
these other guys
Yeah.
coming, man.
kind of throwing back to Hardy there, my last name, that's something I'm proud of.
Yeah.
That's something that I'm wanting to pass on. And honestly, the whole reason why I got back into building, I wanted to build a guitar for my daughters whenever I'm dead and gone, that they have something to remember me by.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
And I mean,
You seen me smirk and laugh at you.
Well,
man.
as soon as you said last name, I think we both
We're
looked
proud
at
of
each other.
ours, but we don't know if we should be.
fair enough. But no, just like the moments that it's created for me and my family, dude, I'm not making a lot of money building guitars, but the memories and the stories that's coming from this is just, it's unreal.
Well,
Money will come.
money will come. I believe that. I keep telling this dude he's going to be the next Fender.
Yeah, that will come because. So right now you're laying out this
Groundwork.
groundwork, this
Yeah.
foundation, right? Of the foundation of your company, and what people are going to say is, like I said, hey, the reason I went to this dude is because I love the guitars, quality's great. He sent me the first one, it was totally wrong. Went back, dude was like, "Oh no, we can't have it wrong." That quality, man. I'm telling you, that quality build, and then plus now that you've got, you got some hype behind it. I love Gibson. I love Fender.
Me too.
It was funny you kind of pointed out. I love Gibson SGs. I love Fender Telecasters. I love Fender Stratocaster. I love anything, but at the same time, everybody's got those.
Yeah.
I guarantee you, Catfish still has a Gibson or you know
dude.
what I mean.
Yeah.
Slew.
So now that it's cool that there's these other options out there that aren't those two brands, right?
Right.
And as far as I'm concerned, those are I know there's PRS and I know there's, some of the other ones that, from Trevor, there's, what's the one, the Schecter. I don't even know.
Trevor's been playing.
Look,
a Jackson.
Kevin's laughing at
Yeah.
my pronunciation, but this is like
Kevin's
I know.
Trevor's rocking a Jackson now. Jackson,
yeah.
like he's got a flying V. Like that's all coming back.
Oh yeah, dude. And here's the thing too. What I'm doing, it's nothing new. There are so many small builders out there right now. It's crazy, and I think people's wanting something that's unique to them, something you can't pick up off.
But
the
I'm going to
shelf.
say, here's what I'm going to say about that and the small builders thing is, I got one that I looked at and loved, but I had never got to play. And it's the American flag one that Chad got me. That a builder. Dude, that thing plays like crap.
You'll have those.
That plays like I might as well put that out in the. That'd be better for me out in the lake where bass could gather around it, and I use it as a piece of cover or something. But no, honestly, it plays like garbage. I love the way it looks. It hangs on one of our guitar hooks.
Yeah.
Never ever going to be the guitar I grab to play.
Right.
I mean, you're making guitars that people are playing because they're good quality playing guitars, right? There's a
on
big
the Grand
difference.
Ole Opry.
Yeah, first. Well, that was just the first show of the year.
Yeah. How do we top that, guys? But no, seriously, there's a lot of good builders out there, and actually, there's several others right around here. And actually, I want to give a shout out to them. Joe Pappin, just over here in Newburgh. I stopped by his place before I came over here. That dude has been so instrumental in helping me get started and teaching me stuff. That dude is an actual luthier. I mean, he knows what he's doing. His stuff is
luthier. You know what's funny is I'm so glad you said that because I was literally in my car a while ago in my truck waiting to pick. I was getting Laura from work, and I was like racking my brain. I was like, "What's it called? What's the correct name for a guitar builder?"
Well, that's not me. So
yeah,
I'm a practicing professional. I think is what people call me.
I like that. So Theo plays Pappin, right?
Theo plays Pappin.
Yeah, and Theo's great.
Oh my God, Theo.
Theo's
you talking about Theo?
Yeah,
and the car. Yeah.
Theo's actually out doing. Man, he is touring with Houston, the artist Houston, right?
Yeah, they did the Harley Davidson Festival last year, I believe, and they've got some big festivals coming up next year. Actually, I'm hoping to catch them in Panama City next year.
Theo's great.
Dude,
Theo played out here.
Yeah. Theo actually played that Pink Menace too, the sparkly one.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, like I've got a video of him playing this, and like I'm sitting here, I'm like, that was one of those moments. It's just in a small Princeton bar, and Theo's playing this, and I'm like, sitting there like so proud. I'm like, dude, he's making it sound awesome.
I think the last time I played with Theo was probably out here.
So
and him and Dakar.
I remember a lot of people try to pull it off. Dude, that cat played Purple Rain out there.
Oh yeah,
and it was fantastic. Him and Dakar.
Oh yeah, and so one of those moments. It's like I take my guitar off.
I don't want to play this anymore.
Theo, come here. And man, he just killed it.
Yeah, and you're like, dude, I have to keep on playing now.
And then I didn't want to get up and play anymore after that.
That happens a lot with you, actually.
Yeah, it does.
I've noticed that.
It works a lot. Sometimes it doesn't.
You ever notice that he'll just disappear on you?
Oh, dude, all the time.
I'll always look up and I'll just see you playing. I'm like, where's Jimmy?
Yeah.
Or I look and he's like talking to somebody out in the crowd.
Or end of the night when it's time to like tear down.
Oh, he always just
that's the best time to disappear.
And it used to be not bad because Mikey would be there, but now Mikey got married. So now, dude, that's the whole reason why I bought a new sound system.
Because it's easier to carry.
I'm like, if I've got to tear this down, I'm doing smarter.
Michael, nobody absolved you of your responsibilities to tear down for your dad.
Yeah,
just because you got married? What is that?
Well, and here's the deal. Like, I saw Kane at the wedding.
Yeah.
And I told him, I said, hey, you got to step up, bro.
Yeah.
That was the last time I saw him.
He did not step up.
That was the last time I saw him. You know what? And you know what's funny is Mikey was mouthing off on the podcast comments in the comment section of the last episode.
Bro. You know he's going to be here for this one.
Yeah. Well, we were talking about The Office, and he was like, I'm ashamed that you idiots.
Well, he's an office freak. Yeah, like, he has a problem.
And he's an idiot.
Well, that too.
That's the biggest problem.
That is the biggest
Back to that last name.
Yeah, I know, right?
Well, see? Yeah,
sorry, guys.
We were proud enough to pass it on. Apparently, we both thought there needed to be more.
We said, you know what this world needs is some more DeTalents.
Some more of us. That's all it needs. Man, we did it too.
Mercy.
So then, Kevin, what else do you have going on? As if that's not enough.
I don't know what else I've got going on right now.
So
I can't keep up with it all.
You what keeps you straight? A calendar? Your wife? What? Tell me.
I'm still trying to figure that out.
Okay, that's fair enough.
Yeah, I'm not a calendar person such as yourself there.
Well,
because usually I'm messaging you. I'm like, hey, a lot of messy text strings going on. Like I'm constantly like scrolling back there. I'm like, what did I tell this guy?
When were we playing? Yeah, I have a few of those. But I know that if I don't put it in a calendar right then and there, I will forget.
Again, I feel like you've worn off on me.
No, boy.
I feel like I used to be like really well organized and put together.
Yeah.
And then the longer I've been around you, I'm like, let's just shoot from the hip. Kind of like this podcast right here.
Hey,
like I knew
it works out.
I knew coming into this, like it was just going to be what it is.
You
know, I've done.
Hey, you know what? That's what, and we've told everybody. Everybody comes in and they're all like, "Hey, so do you have like a line of questioning, or do you have like something?" I'm like, "No, dude. We're gonna start shooting the."
I knew better than to ask.
Yeah, you know, man.
Here we are 3 hours later.
If it ain't real, I don't want it. So that's what
like
we're
that.
trying to give, man.
Just like a Menace guitar. If it ain't real, I don't want it.
I don't want it,
man. It's just part of. I don't know. For me, I don't want to watch some scripted podcast where people are like, "So I see in 1987 that you were here and that you were there."
Kevin wasn't born yet.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
I wasn't.
I like the organic.
Yeah,
feel
for sure.
of just getting in and just talking to
and
people.
I can tell you this: tens and tens of people like that too.
That's right. Tens
and tens
and
of people.
and tens.
You know what? Here's what's crazy though. Okay, you and I, we've been hanging out together for the past 7 years. I'll get it right this time.
Yeah.
We spend almost every single weekend together.
Pretty much, yeah.
And still in this podcast, I've learned some things that I did not know about you.
Oh,
I did not know that you hung off the hood of a minivan.
Oh, well.
So.
That's just one minivan. No, there's tons of stories. Oh, I'm sure there's tons of stories that you haven't got to hear. 7 years isn't enough.
Yeah, that's true.
I'll tell you the podcast that you'll want to watch, the episode you'll want to watch is pretty soon. I don't know what week. I don't know if it's next week or the week after, but our dads are going to come on.
Oh, Lord.
And dude, yeah.
Man, if you want to hear some stories.
But you really want to hear stories, come here that night after the camoras are turned off.
Right.
You'll get the real stories then.
We won't.
I know.
Oh, I just told you. If it ain't real, I don't want it. There are stories we won't be able to tell. We can't tell.
I know.
There actually is statute of limitations that probably won't run out on some of those stories.
I know one crime that has no statute of limitations. But it's man. But it is. I don't know. So to me, it's different. It's so easy for me to do this. If we consider this, it's an act of love, a labor of love, but it's work. Like I had to make myself come here today. I was tired tonight, man. I was like, man, but man, I've never had something that I do, that I dig so much as far as just getting in, and because it's literally me and my brother. Yeah. And we get up, we literally show up and talk. And if there's somebody with us, we show up and talk to them. Yeah. And there is no expectations, man. If
you think we rabbit hole now,
with
a guest, when it's just us, we really go down some rabbit holes, don't we?
We do. We probably go down some we shouldn't, but
you'll have that. From time
it just
to time.
happens. But I will never not. Here's my thing though. I will not scrap a show, because somebody says, well, you probably shouldn't have talked about that, or you got a little too real on this. Or, I won't do that. I won't scrap a show, man.
I can't wait to see that one.
The one that's people are saying.
People's like,
well, I got news for you, buddy. It's probably coming. No,
as it should.
Hey, but honestly, man, the guitar thing's awesome. It's just going. It just seems like it's just skyrocketing to me and I'm kind of more on the outside. I don't see you as much as Jimmy does, which we probably need to talk about. But on another note, but we'll deal with that off camera. I'm just playing. I'm just teasing.
I know you love
I'm just teasing you. So I feel like you see that growth constantly because you're where I kind of hear highlights,
right?
You know what I'm saying? So it seems like it's just like bam, highlight. It just keeps going, man. Just seems like you're killing it, dude.
Well,
here lately it's been a highlight every week. Like, hey, guess what? Guess who called me?
Guess who I'm talking to?
Yeah,
dude, it's been crazy the past couple of weeks, and I'm sitting here, I'm waiting. I'm like, all right, we're climbing. When is it going to hit that moment where it's like, oh man, what just happened? And that's what happens usually is, you build up to this big moment and then something goes wrong. Like, for example, the whole Opry thing. Okay, I'm all excited about having a guitar on there. And then literally the day before, he's like, hey, man, something's wrong. And I'm like, oh, man, it's done. I'm not going to make it. I've got family coming to this show. I've got an old teacher showing up to this show, and I'm going to have to call him and be like, hey, he's not playing at Menace tonight. But we turned it around. Even like the whole Winter Jam thing, that was super cool.
That was another thing you didn't.
Whoa! What?
Yeah. So
there's another cool point.
Here we
go.
Tell you
what, 2025 has been wild, but no. Back in January, we actually gave a guitar away at Evansville's Winter Jam,
and you were up on stage.
Yeah, I got to go up on stage with Way FM. We were there all day. I know the Ford Center like the back of my hand now. I probably got in places I shouldn't have been. Like, I was begging them for a job that day. I'm like, hey, Hire me.
You were out hyping up the crowd too, weren't you?
Dude, yeah, we got to go out there, give away tickets. We got to meet all the artists, and I got to go on the main stage and talk about the guitar, invite everyone up there
That's
to
cool.
come enter.
So everybody in that crowd, which was probably what, 10,000 people?
Yeah.
Somewhere thereabouts.
At least Winter
Yeah.
Jam's huge.
Heard about Menace Guitars
Yeah.
and their opportunity to win
Yep.
a Menace guitar sponsored by Way FM. It was a Way FM Menace
FM
guitar.
guitar.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. See, I didn't even know that, man. That's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah,
That's great.
All of the artists on the tour like autographed the case, and then Skillet autographed the pick guard, and we gave it away that night. They said that was the highest number of entries that they ever had for a giveaway.
That's awesome.
So it was super cool. Went to a little girl, and she was as excited as she could be to win
Yeah.
it that night. So
Man,
that was
that's
awesome.
great.
But yeah, like before we went up on stage, like Way FM's like, hey, just stand over here and just hang
Well,
out.
you know what's funny is you did a giveaway for the church.
Yeah.
With
Cam.
it funded VBS.
Yeah.
And that went to a little girl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really wanted to win that.
I know.
I really wanted to win
Dude,
it,
that
too.
me and Cam's been
That
talking.
was a collaboration with our cousin.
Yes.
Have we mentioned
Yes.
these awesome?
Well,
you see
check
these
this out right
coasters
here.
every week.
We're supposed to film a commercial, and
Yeah.
I haven't seen him. I got to talk to him, but Cam's cutting boards, and dude, these things are awesome. They're my favorite cutting boards. I mean,
We've got
here's-
one.
Let me tell you.
Do
what-
you use it because Sarah doesn't want to use
See,
it?
we
Sarah,
do.
okay, so Sarah's the kind of person I don't like. That's what I was just. That's what I was just.
We already knew that.
That's what I was getting ready to say. Is like he makes these cutting boards that are beautiful, but they're
Yeah.
man, dude, you should use.
but they're
them.
very functional.
Yes, they're they're
Dude,
fantastic.
I've got one of them, and he's like, man, you've got to use this thing. And it's kind of like the guitars. It's like, it's
Yeah.
a tool.
Yes.
Use it.
Yeah. That's what I do. We've got a big long one that's got handles on it. Oh, dude, it's so nice.
But no, Cam's such a great dude.
He is, man.
So if I would have won that guitar, I would have used it as a cutting
As a
board.
cutting board.
as well.
Yeah,
I mean,
guitar.
yeah,
Guitar.
absolutely. We actually put a finish on there so you could.
You see?
Multi-purpose.
But I didn't win.
multi-purpose.
Yeah.
I didn't win.
But so if you're listening to this, go ahead and check out Cam's Cutting Boards. He's on Facebook, I know.
Yeah.
And you can get a hold of him on his Facebook page, and he will certainly make you anything you want. He can do different kinds of patterns. and
Another
things.
true carpenter.
Yeah, another true. Oh, he is a carpenter.
He's like
Which is
a proper-
amazing
yeah.
because his hands look like they're
His
made to
hands.
hook meat out of a freezer.
Oh my God. Like, yeah.
Like it's one thing, dude. When you're big, I'm like a big dude. So I'm big.
So
to
imagine me standing next
So
to him.
listen, I'm big to all of my nephews and stuff,
Yeah,
right?
no.
Besides Sam, but they always make fun of me because they're like, Mikey, he'll be like,
of course.
he'll be like, your hands next to Uncle Cam's look like a girl's hands. You know, he'll always throw that up in my face. So,
So how does he work? How does he work with those big meat hooks?
Dude, I don't know.
dude, I don't know. Can you imagine him trying to play guitar?
He actually can play guitar.
Really?
Yeah, he can.
I didn't know he could play guitar.
Yeah, it's a little known fact. He probably won't tell you that,
This whole time.
but he will. He can play
Learn
guitar.
something new. He's my
Yeah.
family, but so he can play some chords.
He can play some chords. Yeah,
I can play some chords.
yeah.
We're probably about equal.
I can play some chords here and there when
Well-
I choose to play.
You do play some.
When? Every now and then.
Every now and then, when I have to, when I don't break strings.
Yeah. Whenever I'm not changing. That's the whole reason why I'm with him. You know that, right? It's
Yeah,
just so
you're a
I can
guitar
fix
tech.
stuff for
Yeah.
him. I mean, I broke a string. What, the show I wasn't at, you broke 2 strings?
On 2 different guitars.
I feel sorry for you sometimes, and you always know, like if I'm there, I can change a string for you, like
Yeah.
if you want me to. But then again, I'm always completely content just to sit back and watch Kevin do it too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
And don't bring it to me with like if I'm going to do it, I want to know because I want a string winder, I want a string wrench. I don't want to.
yeah.
Dude, I'm prepared. And I think
Yeah.
I've got it down now to where you can play one song and I've got
You do. You've timed that out well.
I changed your entire set of strings one night.
In one song,
In one song?
And I'm not going to say one song, but I changed your entire set because
and like when he got them, they stayed in tune, they were stretched and
I
everything.
knew what was going to happen if I didn't. I was going to be doing it again. But in the middle of me changing those, you broke a string on my guitar.
I did.
Oh,
didn't
I remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was that a Bud's?
No. That was rooftop.
Okay.
Yeah. That was
Well, then you know what? I think that's happened more than once.
I'm
I'm
it
sure
has.
Because I'm
It's
pretty
a-
sure it
it's a
happened at
regular.
Bud's not too long ago.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure you were changing his string, and then I
Yeah.
looked at him. He was playing your guitars, smiling real big, and your string was hanging.
Speaking of that, I need a set of strings before Sunday if you can help me
Didn't
out.
I just get you a set of strings?
Yeah, and you broke those.
Oh.
See how that
I
works?
guess I'll get you another. Just send me a
Now, are
picture.
these strings
of
for
what you
your
want.
guitar?
No.
It's
Oh.
strings that he's used that he brings for me because I don't bring them apparently. So the last time I
Dude,
broke,
his case. Have you opened it up?
there's a lot of strings in there.
Oh
Yeah.
my goodness.
But they're just all loose. You don't know
Dude,
which.
you don't.
Yeah.
It's seriously. It is a stack
Yeah.
of just
And
maybe it's what you need.
Maybe it ain't.
No.
And maybe it's one from when he used different gauges to.
Oh, dude,
there's a lot of different gauges.
You just sort of go through, then you're like, all right, we'll make
this
this
one will work. Yeah.
And then I got in the Gibson case the other day, and there's like some vintage strings in there. I swear it's like original to the guitar.
Those are probably from Poppy. So when I got that guitar, I didn't clean any of the case out because I don't know, it was just sentimental to me.
Right.
He has a very old capo in there and some credit card pics that he just cut out.
Is it one of those like elastic capos?
No, it's one of the clamp. It's a good one.
It's a clamp on.
Same one my grandpa put in my case.
So I just never wanted to clean that out because that was his stuff. And I've had that guitar for I've had the guitar over 30 years.
Because you got it before he passed, right?
I did. And then he I kind of borrowed it and just never gave it back.
Do you have the banjo too?
I don't. I have one of his banjos. I don't have his main banjo.
Who's got it?
My mother has his main banjo.
What's she need it for?
Who knows?
What does Jimmy need it for?
Well, listen.
Because have you heard him play?
I have not.
Have you seen him in Deliverance? He's that little kid.
Well, I have seen him in movies. There's that Christmas story that's
okay. Yeah, there is.
He's
Borrowed Christmas.
Oh, and you're also
and I also
and 94 feet.
94 feet. I have songs on those soundtracks as well. I wasn't in the movie Saving Faith, but I have. I'm actually.
You know what my favorite soundtrack you ever did?
What?
And I wish there would be more episodes of it.
What?
That cartoon that Olin guy did.
Oh yeah. Man,
so good.
You know what? So. Did we talk about that?
Yeah, we've talked.
We've
talked
about that. It was, that was crazy because that started as a series on YouTube. It was called Gary Space.
That's it, Gary Space.
Gary Space, and so it was it was a very cool vibe, and it was just like the graphics weren't. It was meant to look like something on like Cartoon Express or Adult Swim or something like that. Yeah. So it turned, and then so he used one of my songs that I had already recorded in another band. That was the theme song for a while. And then I said, man, why don't you just let me write a theme song and record a theme song for you properly that actually had something to do with the show. So then I recorded the theme song and he used that moving forward on the show. I can't remember how many episodes that
I watched them all. They were really good. It was actually, and I don't even like Adult Swim and stuff.
Yeah.
So it was different, and I liked it, and it probably had to do with the fact that you were working with the guy.
Probably
but
a little
at the same
biased.
time, I loved watching it. It ended up like it was funny.
So then I don't know. I didn't really hear from him that much. You just lose contact with people or whatever. And then the next thing I know, this dude gets a deal with TBS. And Gary Space turned into Final Space. And like this was this huge launch. It was like whatever year it came out, it was like the debut of this show was like Super Bowl Sunday or whatever. Like they made this big push. Like Olin was on Conan O'Brien. Conan O'Brien was one of the producers of the show. And I was like, man, that's really cool, man. I wonder, like, never heard from him about that theme song. And then I said, and then I watched the episode, and then there was actually no Jimmy DeTalent anywhere to be found on that theme. So the theme song was kind of like this orchestral music that was fit the vibe of the cartoon because it was very polished, like very high quality graphic, whatever. So
what they went with was very polished and high quality.
So you can see why it didn't work out for me to have.
I thought you were saying what you wrote was very polished.
And,
yeah, that's what he was saying.
Prior to that, we used to talk, and he used to live between Memphis and Nashville. I think he's from Memphis, and then ended up moving to Nashville. Had the soda parlor down there. Actually, ran a successful business down there, and we kept in contact. But long story short, when all that was happening, happened to be out in L.A. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to call him because I knew he had moved out to L.A. And I was like, hey, Owen, obviously straight to voicemail. I'm pretty sure it didn't ring. Hey, Owen, Jimmy here. I'm in town here in L.A. I would love to get some lunch with you and catch up. And,
he was like, yeah, you might get some ketchup on your fries.
You just get that ketchup at the In-N-Out Burger that I won't be at.
Oh, man. I'm sure he was busy.
I'm sure he was busy.
I'm sorry about that.
That's okay.
Oh, man.
Story of my life.
Well, we've got two choices, boys. We can take another break or we can call it a night. I think it's been a great conversation. Kevin, man, like I said, we're super proud of you. I think there's I think things are just going to get better. I really do, man. I
Yep.
really think you're going to I think you're already blowing up and maybe just don't realize it yet. How that goes, because sometimes sometimes you're in the middle of the blast and you don't even kind of realize what's going on. But, man, those are some big names that are already playing your stuff. And it's not because they're, at the end of the day, it's not because of anything but the way that instrument plays. That at the end of the day, that's what it's for. Sure, it looks cool.
Yep,
sure, it has to match that. But you give them the best looking thing they've ever got, and it plays like crap, they're going to put it down.
I think between that and just what I always tell people, if you take care of people, they're going to take care of you. So that's what I try to do.
Absolutely. I 100% agree. Well, Jimmy, you know what to do. Everybody, don't forget, like, subscribe, comment, share. You can check us out on Facebook. You can check out us on YouTube, especially on YouTube. Subscribe to the YouTube channel so you don't miss the full episodes. That's where we want you to go, and we want you to get this information. But you can also check out all the shorts that we put out on YouTube and on TikTok and on Click Clock and whatever the other ones are. We're too old. We're too old to know all of this stuff. I can tell you this. Today, it seems that TikTok got another life extension. So a good thing that they're still going to be around, since we finally got some momentum going on one of the platforms, right? But with no further ado, Jimmy, let him have it.
Well, bye.